Could you please tell me your history with flash mobs at the speeding market?
I've been hit with a few of these flash mobs. Suddenly, a dozen or more people will run in my store, spread out, and then start taking things. I've lost thousands of dollars of goods this way. That's why I ended up originally calling the police the night of the shooting.
Could you please tell me the policy speeding marks have for on-duty police officers?
Each on-duty police officer can get a free coffee and one free pastry.
Very kind. Please tell me what led up to the calling of the police that night.
I noticed a crowd gathering outside of my store. It looked to be about 10 or more people. I was especially worried because it looked like a repeat of previous flash mobs that had hit my store, and a lot of the customers had just bought alcohol. So I called the police.
Objection, narration.
Stay.
Could you please describe any person that looked familiar in said crowd?
I recognized a person I knew as Terry Gibson. He came in, bought a few things, and then went outside and started talking.
Objection broad.
Overruled.
And started talking to some people outside.
Thank you. Could you please tell me what Terry Gibson had purchased from the speeding market?
He purchased a 16-ounce coffee, a pack of chewing gum, cigarette rolling papers, and 3 boxes of 100 Ziploc bags.
Could you please tell me what you saw as the officer had confronted Terry?
As I watched the officer approach Terry, I saw him drop something white on the ground. I could tell pretty quickly that their conversation was getting quite animated. They were yelling so loud I could hear them from inside of my store. Then the dinner rush began, and my store was
Objection,
crowded.
narration.
Stay.
What did you witness the police officer doing after you exited the store?
I witnessed the police officer in the middle of the intersection arguing with Decker with her dog bouncing around next to her. And then I heard a gunshot and I went back inside my store.
Could you please tell me the type of behavior you have experienced with Angel?
Angel has previously gotten loose and wandered outside of my store growling at my customers. After that, I'm a bit afraid of the dog.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Cross-examine.
Please state your name for the record.
Erica Decker? No, oh my god. Juanita Morales.
How long have you owned and operated the Speedy Mart?
I've owned and operated the Speedy Mart for 20 years now.
Is it not true you have a negative bias towards your customers? Yes or no, please.
No.
Your Honor, I would like to enter evidence from Juanita Morales' statement.
Too bad I can't see in the streets of all those troublemakers outside my stores who are costing me money.
Would you say officers would not respect your one pastry rule?
Occasionally they do.
Your Honor, I would like to submit evidence from Juanita Morales' statement.
We have a policy that all on-duty police officers get free coffee and one pastry. Officers do not respect our one pastry limit though and take more, sometimes even a dozen donuts when they stop by.
So if the officers don't respect your one pastry rule, do you think they're going to respect other people's property?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Let's go to the moment Officer Parnes approaches Terry Gibson. Was Officer Parnes yelling at Gibson?
No.
Your Honor, I would like to submit evidence.
Pretty quickly, I could tell that the conversation was getting animated. Both of them were raising their voices and shouting so loud that I could hear them inside the store.
Was Officer Barnes escalating the situation by yelling at Gibson with bystanders around?
No.
Your Honor, I would like to submit some evidence.
The customer and the police officer were talking for a good few minutes, and the whole time, the officer was yelling at somebody else that I couldn't see.
Thank you, those are all my questions.
Redirect.
Redirect.
Your affidavit states that both Officer Barnes and Terry Gibson had their voices raised, correct?
Correct.
I'd like to. Please.
Both of them were raising their voices and shouting so loud I could hear them inside the store.
No further questions from me.
Redirect. Defense, declare your second, please.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Officer Barnes to the stand.
Put your right hand on the Bible, your left hand up, and repeat after me. I, Officer Barnes,
I, Officer Bond,
swear to tell the whole truth,
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth,
and nothing but the truth,
so help me God.
so help me God.
You may be seated.
Please state your name for the record.
Paul Barnes,
Please state your occupation.
13-year veteran at Metro City Police Department.
Have you had any prior circumstances of discharging your weapon?
I have had 2 prior incidents.
How long were you on the force as of this time?
I was on the force for 7 years.
Describe what occurred on January 16, 2012, while you were on duty.
When I was driving into work, a dispatcher called for a squad car to Rosa Park Avenue for a complaint of a gathering outside the speeding mark, and the caller was
Narration. Describe the familiarity you had with information from this call at this particular location.
the speeding mark owner has had problems with flash mobs before, and she also got rejected from opening sandwich shops outside her stores.
Your Honor, I'd like you to submit New Columbia Civil Code 1322, rioting or incitement to riot. Officer Barnes.
A riot is a public disband involving an assembly of 5 or more people who, by accumulation in violent conduct or the threat theory of create grave danger or damage or injury or injury to property or person.
What did you do once you arrived on scene?
I assessed the situation and I realized this wasn't a regular gathering.
Why was this not a regular gathering?
This wasn't a regular gathering because it wasn't your regular Rosa Park after party.
What did you do after your initial assessment of the situation?
I parked my squad car outside the Eden Mart and I counted at least 12 people. I established my presence and I was met with hostility while I was trying to disperse them. One even spit on the ground. One even spit on the ground next to my feet.
What were those 12 people doing?
9 of them were standing in a circle.
Did you notice anyone suspicious in that group of people?
Yes, while the 12 people were, what the 12 people were doing, 9 of them were standing in a circle, 2 of them were talking, and 1 was walking away quickly, which raised my suspicion.
Why did what did you notice as that person was walking away?
I noticed when I confronted Terry, she dropped things.
Did you investigate the situation?
Yes, I had reasonable cause to investigate this situation since I've seen this before, this suspicious act, which I call it, well, what they did is they ditched their stash and was gonna come back for it.
Narration.
What did you find in your investigation of the situation?
After reasonable cause of investigating the situation, I found traces of cocaine in a plastic bag.
Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibit B, crowd management policy.
Establish line of communication through pre-meeting with the group organizer. Deploy sufficient numbers of LEO and public safety personnel to control all possible anticipated events. Establish overt police presence. Use of dispersal methods such as loud speech, amplified sound, and clear signals. Request and coordinate request and coordinate presence of support units when necessary to maintain control or when situations escalates beyond what was anticipated. Establish photo/video journal of chronology of events. Employ a progressive force response beginning with the voice commands and utilizing available alternatives such as firm grip, pepper spray, plastic handcuffs, electoral control devices, and non-permanent immobilization tactics. Establish and preserve photo/video journal of arrest and booking.
Explain your experience with crowd management.
The entire Metro City Police Department had to take a crowd management class.
What happened once you had apprehended Gibson?
I heard screaming from the side of the road, and I noticed that she had a dog, and yeah, they were just screaming.
Is it true that you don't have to read Miranda rights unless you are planning to ask a question about the investigation?
Yes, it is true.
Sustained.
Well, what was that individual screaming?
Objection brought.
Sustained.
As you surveyed the scene, did you notice an individual, a significant individual?
Yeah, I did. There was one particular person that caught my eye. She was screaming, she was videoing, and even had a dog by her side.
What were they screaming?
Come over here, everybody. Let's come watch this cop. Let's get him out of our neighborhood.
Who did you identify this individual as?
Erica Decker.
No. No, what do you believe this individual was attempting to do?
I believe this individual was trying to incite a riot, and it was clearly working.
Why do you think her actions were working?
Because the crowd came from 12 to 20 people.
How did you utilize your training as of this point? As of this point?
I used my training from Metro City Police Department, and I called for support unit to gain control over a situation that got out of hand.
Now that you had apprehended Gibson, what did you do?
I finished my arrest pushing through the crowd that was very violent and throwing things. They even threw something at the side of my squad car. They were trying to get Terry Gibson to resist arrest.
What exactly did you assess about the crowd as of this point?
I got a lot more hostile. Like I said, they were throwing things. They were trying to get him to resist arrest, and they weren't listening to anything. They were just trying to be violent.
Your Honor, I'd like to present New Columbia Civil Code 5750, interfering with arrest.
A person commits the crime of interfering with arrest if knowing that a law enforcement officer is making an arrest, or the person reasonably should know that law enforcement is making an arrest for the purpose of preventing the officer from effecting the arrest. The person interferes with the arrest of another person by causing the arrest to become more difficult through the use of threat, use of violence, physical force, or any other distractions.
How did you respond to this hostile situation?
I gave several commands to where most of the yelling and things were coming from, and I told her to stop recording. I tried getting the video. He had deleted the video.
Sustained.
At what point did backup arrive?
Backup arrived when I was talking to Eric Decker in the middle of the street.
Describe with your confrontation with Decker's dog.
When I Erica Decker had no physical control over Angel. She refused to pick up the leash. The dog was by her side, shifting back and forth and barking a lot. This dog could be very violent.
Your Honor, I'd like to present New Columbia Civil Code 5500, controlled domestic dogs.
A, B, C, and D. Alright.
The term at large shall mean a dog that is not in enclosure or otherwise confined or is not under the control of the owner or other person by meaning a leash, cord, or chain. Animal control officer attached with impounding an animal found at large. It shall be unlawful for any dog owner to allow their dog to harm another person. It shall be lawful for the animal control specialist or any police officer informed of unlawful dog activity to tranquilize or kill any dog at large within the city, which cannot be safely impounded or which harms or threatens to harm another person, any person.
Describe Decker's dog, Angel, in context of being at large.
Angel was at large. Erica Decker had no control at all of Angel. That dog could have harmed anyone. It could have harmed me, could have harmed the group that she gathered around us. So without control of the dog, that dog is at large.
What happened when you reached for Decker's phone?
When I reached for Decker's phone, Angel stood up. Still, let me just clear this out. Erica Decker still had no control of the dog.
Objection, narration.
So when I tried to go grab the phone, Angel stood up, bared its teeth, and was preparing to lunge at me.
In your testimony, you claim you saw the dog do this from the corner of your eye. How do you know that its purpose was to lunge?
It's a huge dog. It's a purebred pit bull. You are going to see movement from that dog. I had a split-second decision to make, and when I seen that dog stand up and preparing to lunge at me, I had a split-second to do. Split-second decision to protect me and everyone around me.
What happened after you saw Angel stand up in the corner of your eye?
I felt horrible. It's not what I wanted to do. I love dogs. I cherish them. But I had to make a split-second decision to keep me and everyone around me safe. I had to shoot that dog. It was a lawful decision that I had to make.
No further questions.
Officer Barnes, how long have you been in service?
13 years.
And isn't it true you were called to Rosa Parks Ave for loitering?
Huh?
You were called to Rosa Parks Ave for loitering?
Yeah.
What was the date of this incident?
January 16th.
The year?
It
It was 2012, Officer Barnes.
was.
When you arrived on the scene, how many people were at the speeding mark?
There was 12 people I've seen.
Isn't it true you told the group to disperse?
Yes, I did. So, and I used live speech to do that.
Simple yes or no question. Isn't it true that Terry Gibson complied by leaving the area due to your orders?
Yeah, but
Yes or
when,
no answer, please.
yeah, but when I was trying
Yes
to,
or no answer, please. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Simple yes or no answer again. Isn't it true that out of all the 12 people, you singled out the first person to comply with your orders?
when you're walking away quickly, you
Yes or no answer, please.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So am I to understand, yes or no, that you pursued Terry Gibson simply because she was following your orders?
Objection.
Sustained.
Are you aware that Terry Gibson bought a coffee from the Speedy Mart?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. Do you put cream and sugar in your coffee, Officer Barnes?
No, I just went black.
All right. But isn't it normal for people to put cream and sugar in their coffee?
Objection relevant.
Stay with me, Judge. There's an important line of
Irrelevant.
questioning which is very important
Objection
to the
relevant.
matter of this case.
Continue.
Thank you. Isn't it true that Terry Gibson tried to explain her misunderstanding in which she dropped into the sewer grate?
Sure.
And isn't it true that these small objects can be unretrievable when they fall down the sewer?
Yeah, but when I have reasonable cause,
Yes or no
when
answer?
I have reasonable
Yes or no
cause,
answer? If you confirm that all of this is true, how can you be certain that the bag you retrieved is Terry Gibson?
it was right underneath your feet.
It was where?
Right underneath it. It right where she was standing. It was right down there.
Let me ask you this, officer. Is Rosa Parks a busy street?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
There were a lot of people on the street at this time, right?
Yeah.
In your 13-year experience, is there any chance that you picked up anybody of those 12 people's Coke and not an empty creamer or sugar packet that she dropped down the sewer?
No.
Not at all.
Nope.
How are you trained to handle flash mob situations?
I use my training to try to disperse them, such as loud speech. I slow the situation down, and I just try to clear it down.
Your Honor, we'd like to enter evidence from Officer Barnes' statement.
I don't mean to sing and dance. Yeah. I decided to bust Gibson for drugs.
The highlight part, please.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, let's use that training.
All right, yeah. The Metro City Police, the Metro City politicians have made it clear that flash mob problem need to be stopped immediately. We were told to pay special attention to the situation that had potential for spiraling into a flash mob, spiraling into a flash mob, and that when we encounter an unruly group, we should disperse the crowd as quickly and peacefully as possible. I did. And
Isn't it true that you were specifically looking for a flash mob?
yeah, that's what I was called
And
for.
isn't it true that you were called for a loitering complaint,
I was called for a gathering outside a speedy mark.
which is the definition of loitering, right?
Yep.
Thank you. And isn't it true that you were taught to quickly and immediately break up flash mob situations?
Yeah,
Peacefully?
I did.
Is shooting a gun very peaceful, Officer Barnes?
When I had a split-second decision
Yes
to
or
make.
no? Yes or no, please.
What?
Is shooting a gun peaceful?
No, but I had to do what I
Yes
had
or
to do.
no? Yes or no?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Your Honor, he shot a dog in front of all this crowd. How is that irrelevant?
Is that a question?
No, it's for the judge.
Why is he answering my questions?
It's not a question. Isn't it true that you were stranded by yourself without backup?
No, backup was there when I was talking to Eric Decker in the middle of the street.
The Terry Gibson incident? Where was backup?
I had control over it. I did not need backup at that time.
You did not have backup, correct?
I didn't need it. It wasn't out of hand.
Yes or no answer. Did you have backup?
No.
Thank you. Isn't it true that you were worried about this crowd?
Huh?
You were worried about this crowd, correct?
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Isn't it true that there was a dog present at the scene?
Yep.
Isn't it true that this dog was a pit bull?
Yes, sir.
Objection, irrelevant.
The dog was a pit bull.
You're asking irrelevant questions.
Dogs are known as a man's best friend, correct?
Yep.
Isn't it true that dogs are typically friendly?
Objection, irrelevant.
It depends.
Isn't it true that this dog bothered you?
No.
Your Honor, we'd like to enter evidence of page 24. This one is the underlying part, please.
I was also nervous about the dog. I realized there was a pit bull.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll ask you again, officer. Were you worried about this pit bull?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You were worried about this pit bull just because it was a pit
Objection,
bull.
asking the answer.
Sustained.
Let me ask you this, officer. Have you ever been wrongfully discharged your weapon before?
No, I only had 2 prior incidents. And they're both lawful.
So that's yes, right?
It wasn't wrong.
You've wrongfully discharged your weapon before, correct?
No.
How many times have you wrongfully discharged your weapon?
I didn't wrongfully discharge nothing, but I had 2 prior incidents discharging my weapon.
So 3 times after this incident?
Objection, asking the answer.
Sustained. What was the date of this incident? These incidents.
Why does that matter?
Your prior incidents, what was the date of it?
Why does that matter?
You're not allowed to object. Answer the question.
I just wonder why it matters.
Answer the question, please.
I don't know.
You don't know the dates?
When it's
that you
wrong.
were put on board.
Objection, irrelevant. Sustained.
Can you state your Miranda rights, please, Officer Barnes?
Why do I need to know them when I did not ask Terry Gibson?
Please state your Miranda rights.
You're under arrest. Anything you say and do will be used against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney, and if you need one, we will assign one.
Close enough.
Officer, that is very wrong, by the way. Did you read the Miranda rights to Terry Gibson when you were arrested?
I did not need to. I did not ask him anything about the investigation.
Did you have a taser present on the day of this incident?
Yes, I did.
What about pepper spray?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Did you pull your gun out first when you saw the dog during this incident?
Yes.
Aren't there more peaceful ways to de-escalate a situation, such as taser or pepper spray?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Now, how familiar are you with police procedure, Officer Barnes?
Very familiar.
And where did you establish these procedures?
Metro City Police Department Crowd Management
Not in your training?
Training.
Thank you.
You're up.
Now, please state procedure M of police procedure. If you know procedure so well. Oh, okay, thank you. That's exactly what I thought you did. We'd like to enter evidence, Exhibit D. Just M, please, not the letter, but the statement.
Employ a progressive force response, beginning with a voice command and utilizing available alternatives, such as a firm grip, pepper spray, plastic handcuffs, electrical, my bad, electric? Yeah, electrical.
Yeah, you got that word.
Thank you.
Control device and non-permanent immobilized.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How many people were around the situation when you approached Erica Decker and Angel?
20.
And isn't it true you fired your gun with all these people standing around?
Yeah, I had a split-second decision I had to make.
Now back to your training. Please restate procedure K from your training.
Objection, irrelevant.
Sir, if he's an officer, he should know these trainings that
He
he's
doesn't
established.
need to know that. It does not have to be memorized.
If he's
Just
a
like
proper,
Miranda
if he's
rights.
a proper
His
officer,
Miranda-
he knows.
Him
he
knowing the
knows.
Miranda rights, they do not have to be memorized.
Going by the letter, sustained.
Police
sustained,
officers
sustained.
require Miranda right cards on them.
Can you please restate procedure K?
Sustained.
We'd like to enter evidence.
Okay,
The statement.
alright. Plan for the safety of all bystanders and others not involved in the central.
Now, did you obey these procedure?
I had to do what I had to do.
That's not what I asked.
It was a split-second decision that I had to make to keep everyone around me safe.
Was shooting your gun by these bystanders keeping everyone safe?
Well, yes, because I had a split-second decision to keep me and everyone around me safe from this vicious dog that could have harmed us all.
Are you aware that Erica Decker's children were inside the house?
Yes,
And isn't it true that you endangered these citizens along with Erica Decker and her children by firing your weapon with all these people near?
Objection, Your Honor, conclusion.
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Direct.
Officer Carnes, is it true that you don't have to read Miranda rights unless you are planning to ask a question about the investigation?
yes, this is true.
Once you had brought the baggie that you had apprehended from Gibson, what did the lab reports read?
I found traces of cocaine in the plastic baggie.
Once you had apprehended Terry Gibson, did you ask any questions about the investigation?
No,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Redirect. 3 questions, Counselor.
You had stated previously that there were 20 people in the area, right?
yeah,
How can it be immediately Eric Decker's or Terry Gibson's coat in that sewer?
Because it was right where she was standing.
So if someone stands there, it's immediately their property?
No, but when you drop things too, it just shows that.
No further questions, John.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess, please.
We're not stopping the live stream. Just be aware of that.
I use the bathroom.
Remember, we'll have Chloe. Caleb?
All rise for the honor.
Be seated. Let's call your third witness.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Dr. Andre Larson to the stand.
With your right hand on the Bible and your left hand up, repeat after me. I, Dr. Andrew Larson. Swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. You may be seated.
Please state your name for the record.
Andre Larson.
What is your occupation?
I'm a faculty member in the Canine Science Department at the University of New Columbia School for Veterinary Medicine.
Where did you complete your schooling regarding animal medicine?
I graduated from Southwest Idaho State College for veterinary medicine with a doctorate in veterinary medicine.
Please describe your knowledge regarding animal medicine.
My credentials show, and I personally consider myself an expert in the care, treatment, and training of pit bulls.
How long have you been a licensed veterinarian?
I've been a licensed veterinarian for 11 years.
Please describe your knowledge regarding animal. Your Honor, I'd like to ask that Dr. Andre Larson is considered an expert witness. Please provide an overview of your advocacy for animals.
My first pets were injured swans I rescued from a nearby pond after they were attacked by my neighbor's dog. We then adopted many circus animals from a disbanding circus, and I've previously been arrested for training myself to
Objection,
vet.
narration.
What is your current relationship with the Metro City PD?
I have a $40,000 a year contract with the Metro City Police Department.
Please explain to the court why you accepted a job with the Metro City PD.
I want to be sure that the dogs that they are training are treated in a safe and humane manner.
What contact have you had with law enforcement beyond your job?
As previously stated, I've been arrested for chaining myself to bear check stations to protest hunting in national forests. And I've been cited for failure to maintain proper distance after accidentally rear-ending a police car that stopped suddenly and for no reason in front of me. I understand that
Objection, narration.
Sustained.
What type of dogs are used in the Metro City PD training program?
a variety of dogs are used in the Metro City Police Department, although pit bulls are not used due to their volatility.
What do you mean by volatility?
Pit bulls can shift within a second. 1 second, their behavior is excellent, and the other second, they're showing signs of aggression.
What are some signs of aggression in a pit bull?
Barking aggressively, baring the teeth, jumping. These signs can be very difficult to differentiate between signs of aggression and signs of affection, which is another reason we don't use them in the police department.
According to your expert opinion, what is necessary in the training and ownership of this particular breed?
Pit bulls need much more time, energy, commitment, and respect than other breeds. It is vital that,
Objection, narration.
that pit bulls stay leashed because strangers may not know the difference between signs of aggression and signs of affection.
In your expert opinion, did Erica Decker provide the appropriate level of responsibility required for pit bulls?
No, Erica Decker did not. She failed to keep her dog leashed and she missed a
Objection, narration again.
Sustained.
What is your opinion on Erica Decker's and Angel's experience in the
Objection,
training?
hearsay, in your opinion?
Sustained.
Can you tell us about any other experience you have working with pit bulls outside of the agreement with the police department?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
I worked with the NCCOS to develop a program targeting specifically pit bulls and their training.
You seem very passionate about this breed. Why is that?
Objection, Rod.
Sustained.
Could you please provide your expert opinion on the training pit program that Erica Decker enrolled Angel and herself in?
The training pit program is unreasonable with its money back guarantee. And I've heard rumors
Objection,
that
argumentative.
Sustained.
In your expert opinion, do you believe that Officer Parnes shooting Angel was reasonable considering the circumstances of that day?
Objection, conclusion.
You make a conclusion as expert witness.
the document. Witness. Carry on.
Could you please repeat the question?
In your expert opinion, do you believe that Officer Parnes' shooting Angel was reasonable considering circumstances of that day?
Yes, I believe Officer Pine was reasonable in shooting Angel. Although it is regrettable, and I'm very sorry it had to come to that, Officer Pine was correct.
No further questions.
Thank you. Cross examine.
Isn't it true that you train pit bulls for a living?
Yes,
And isn't it true that training any breed of dog can be difficult?
yes,
Isn't it true that all dogs act differently?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that you were involved in the dog community? As previously
Objection
stated?
irrelevant.
As previously stated?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that dogs can be very friendly?
Objection
Objection,
irrelevant.
speculation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that pit bulls greet strangers with a wiggle and a grin?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
We'd like to enter evidence of her statement.
Thank you. People can be very friendly.
and can often try to greet strangers with a bully grin and wiggling butt while the dog tries to get closer to the stranger in order to assess the stranger's scent.
And isn't it true that pit bulls should be on leash during encounters with strangers? Should be leashed.
Yes.
Isn't it true that someone could misinterpret this encounter as aggressive?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that this bully grin and wiggle could be seen?
Objection,
As a-
speculation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that properly trained dogs under the control of their owner will react different to a stranger with command?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that with the right pit bull training, that a dog will follow its owner's commands?
Yes.
An Angel completed this training, correct?
I don't.
Yes or no answer, please. Are you aware of the pain families go through when losing a pet?
Yes, I am.
And that comes with a lot of trauma, doesn't it?
Objection, irrelevant.
Your Honor,
No objection.
Dr. Larson has personally lost family members along with dogs in her family. His family, sorry. Erica Decker also was lost along with her family.
Objection, where's the question?
Come on.
Sustained.
Back on track. Trauma can come with all sorts of life experiences, correct?
Yeah.
Isn't it true that you have had personal problems with guns?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that your cousin was involved in a gun accident?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that because of this hunting instinct, you view guns differently?
Objection irrelevant.
Your Honor, this is a
You're
true,
asking irrelevant
this
questions.
is a gun matter in which she has personal problems.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that you think cops are quote unquote idiots?
Some of them.
And isn't it true that a quote unquote idiot cop could misunderstand the actions of this dog?
Objection, speculation.
Isn't it true that this cop could pull a gun,
Objection,
leading to many problems
speculation.
such as a hunter around your cousin? Isn't it true that this cop wrongfully misfired his weapon just like the hunter did to you?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect. Redirect. Like your closing statements from the class.
Your Honor, we were summoned here today due to the result of unlawful shooting of Erica Decker's dog Angel. As the evidence shows, this case was very similar to Brown versus Muhlenberg, in which the dog showed no immediate danger and the owner was designed to retain custody of their dog. Officer Barnes violated many steps of this procedure, along with not knowing simple cop procedures, including knowing his Miranda rights and not knowing his procedures that he has to follow every day, including calling for backup and waiting until they arrive. How is it that we're going to allow an officer that only follows 30% of his procedure, along with not knowing the other 70%, to continue enforcing the law on these Metro City civilians? More importantly, how are we going to let these corrupt officers trump the constitutional rights given to our citizens? As a result, we are looking for $1.2 million. And I know that's a lot, but think about the trauma and therapy that Erica Decker's family is going to have to go through while losing their animal. Additionally, this dog was only 3 years old when he was shot. This dog was award-winning, prize-winning, and a moneymaker for this family. He brought in over $100,000 per year of being alive. In the end, Judge Allen, it is crucial that we send a loud and clear message to these corrupt officers, along with Metro City Police Department, for the pain and suffering of the Decker family. The police department needs to get their act together and promptly train their officers to react and honor these citizens' constitutional rights. These are the basic human rights, sir. If we can protect fundamental rights, then what is the point of the justice system?
Comments, closing statements? Plaintiff Erica Decker is bringing unreasonable charges against Officer Paul Barnes for violating her First and Fourth Amendment rights concerning the death of her dog Angel and her video recording of Terry Gibson's arrest. Both of these claims are false and unsubstantiated. Officer Paul Barnes was reasonable in all of his actions based on the circumstances of the situation and his 13 years of experience on the police force. First, let's deal with the First Amendment, in this case, freedom of expression claim from the plaintiff. Erica Decker was unreasonable and unjustified in video recording Terry Gibson's arrest because it was used to incite a riot and it interfered with the lawful and reasonable arrest of Terry Gibson. Terry even stated herself that it's effective to gather and scare off the cop. Now, a riot is a public disturbance involving the assembly of 5 or more people by tumultuous and violent conduct, or the threat thereof, create grave danger of damage or injury to property or person. Terry also stated in her affidavit that her view from the back of the cruiser was blocked by all the people who had gathered at the corner. This further proves that there were enough people gathered by Erica Decker to incite a riot, cause a flash mob, and interfere with an arrest. Now, the case Glick versus Kennedy and Robinson versus Fetterman in the case law could be used by the plaintiff to prove that the case could be used in a similar manner. But as a defense, I'll show you that it cannot be. In the case Glick versus Kennedy, the plaintiff, quote, did not interfere with any of the actions of the officer. And in Robinson versus Fetterman, the plaintiff did not disturb the trooper in any way. This is a threat. This is not similar to this case because Erica Decker was threatening. Did bring out a dangerous dog, could be potentially dangerous. Let go of the leash, leaving it at large based on Civil Code 5500, and caused interference with arrest. This threat made the arrest of Terry Gibson harder for Officer Barnes to execute, and it increased the possibility of a flash mob and potentially a riot at a location that was also known to have flash mobs happening in the past. In terms of the altercation with the dog, Officer Barnes used reasonable judgment to deal with the threat. Based on the verdict of Altman versus City of High Point case law, this case should be decided in a similar manner. In all 4 incidents of this trial, the dog killed had either previous acts of dangerous activity or was dangerous in the moment and at large. This is very similar to this case, because Angel has had past incidences. Angel has been banned from the games, can't go, growling at people, barking. This dog is not formally finished training. The certificate was not signed, didn't go to any of the supplemental classes. This dog is also proven to be a very, very strong dog, so it could be very dangerous. All 4 incidents ruled that the seizure/destruction of property, in that case killing the dog, was reasonable based on all of those factors. The Altman incident in particular, the officer had dispatched his weapon from the moment that he left the car because the dog was at large and had previous incidences of dangerous activity. That case was also ruled in the same manner. That officer's actions were deemed reasonable and he was justified in killing the dog, even when he had his gun out the moment he left the car. The ruling of Brown versus Molenberg was not. The officer who killed the dog was actually convicted of breaking the Fourth Amendment. This case is not similar to this case at hand because the dog had no previous incidences of dangerous activity and the dog at the time showed no dangerous activity or any violent threat to the police officer. He left his car and he basically just shot the dog who was sitting outside on the lawn. Showed no dangerous activity and therefore it should not be decided in the same manner. Now, not only was Angel known to be aggressive and Angel Dog was also dangerous in the moment of the incident. Erica Decker had no control over Angel, was not properly trained, did not have hold of the leash, and to someone who does not know, who's not an expert on pit bull behaviors, growling, barking, moving from a sitting to a standing position without any command definitely proved to be dangerous, especially in a big crowd of people where this extremely powerful and strong dog could hurt someone or kill someone. Although we are very sorry that these unfortunate circumstances ended in the death of Angel, the blame here is really on Erica Decker. She brought out a dog that she knew was dangerous, knew was strong, and made it clear that her purpose of bringing out that dog was to pose a threat and make the cop feel nervous. So she knew what she was doing. She knew she brought up this dog, she wanted to intimidate the cop, so that's on her. Therefore, we believe that Officer Barnes used reasonable and justified action in this case of arresting Terry Gibson and shooting Erica Decker's dog.
We call a brief 5-minute recess to make my decision. Please reconvene at 10:20 for the result.
This you actually have to play.
They rip off the car and read their rights. I got the first little. Yeah, I laughed. Well, at the end, they go, close it up.
Thank you.
Back to your seat. Thank you. We're gonna have to stand for Josie Allen. Yes, no, that's all. Okay. Good. Please rise. All right, good job. Thank you.
Just left us, I guess, too. Judge Allen.
Thank you.
Are you seated? First of all, well done both sides. Get that out of the way. Both sides did a very good job. You made this a lot more difficult than I wanted. Okay. In regards to First Amendment rights, with the recording of Erica's recording of the incident, in both Glick and Robinson, in no way were they attempting to interfere with the police officer's duty. Testimony from Terry states that Erica did indeed call people over, which, in accordance with New Columbia law, is, in this case, under inciting a riot. In regards to the police officer, Officer Parnes' handling of the situation, while he did call for backup for the riot itself, Officer Parnes did not utilize the backup in his handling of the situation with Angel. Erica, I believe that when you were asked to put your phone away, you dropped the leash and continued to, so you could use two hands to record longer. I feel that if you cherish your dog as much as you said, then holding onto the leash of the dog would have been the more prudent decision. Since not having control of the pit bull, especially which one that may or may not have completed the training, shows that your interest in getting the cops back preceded your love of your dog. However, there is my opinion that there were other alternatives that Officer Parnes could have utilized in detaining the dog. He stated that he had both pepper spray and a taser on his person, both of which could have been better utilized for the detaining of the dog Angel. So it is my decision that I will side for the defense. However, Officer Parnes, you are going to be liable for $100,000 to Erica for the loss of the dog. Thank you very much.
Let's go.